Hello. Ali Dickens is named here. She should be here. She was going to be here. She can't be here. She sends her best wishes to you, though. So we're going to talk about our project, English as a Medium of Communication for University Administrators. I'm going to give you a brief project context, an overview. Mary's going to talk in more detail about the course itself. Okay, so just briefly, something about the background. So as you may or may not know, at the university we run massive open online courses, so MOOCs. These have reached nearly 1 million learners via 23 courses since 2013. You may or may not know what a MOOC is, but I hope you do. If not, it's entirely online, open to all, very low barriers to access. It's a course of learning. It's made with high quality production values, videos and all kinds of things like that that are made to high quality. It's comprised of digital assets, for example videos, usually about 2 to 8 weeks long, 3 to 4 contact hours per week, so we're talking about a short course of open learning. It's learner-centred insofar as the learner obviously is control of how much they do and to what extent they engage with the course. And social and peer learning are key parts of pedagogy, so sharing ideas, experiences, peer learning from each other. And obviously it's a course of education, but also there's a really strong knowledge exchange element in the sense of promoting University of Southampton expertise and staff and education, but also sharing that knowledge, getting the knowledge back from learners. So that's a little bit about the background. Now, the course we're going to talk about in a second, which was our project's focus, was inspired by the experience with this particular course, English as a Medium of Instruction for Academics. It's one of our most successful MOOCs run by LCL, Languages, Cultures and Linguistics. So I've got some stats there, 58,000 plus enrolments, 160 countries reached. We've had 14 runs of it since 2017. It's currently available on demand, so anyone can take it at any time and learn from it. Now the interesting thing about that course, so it's created as a 4-week course of learning about English medium instruction, but there have been lots of ripples of impact from this one open course. So we've had obviously a very large number of enrolments. Our learners like the course, they tell us every time we have feedback questionnaires. We have extended the course beyond the walls of the course, if you like. So we have a sustained community engagement with a Facebook group that joins everyone who takes the course and outside of the course. It's led to enterprise and income generation. So we've had requests for further related training if people have done the course or seen it, either online, blended or in person. And a lot of people have included the course into their own training in EMI globally, which is quite an interesting use of online content to blend in either online or in a blended scenario. We've also used it ourselves as content and the focus for funding bids for teacher education or research projects. For example, we had one recently funded by the British Council, whereby we cascaded EMI training across higher education institutions in the Philippines. That project, we got that project because the British Council had seen the MOOC, had taken it, been inspired by it, and we were able to build it into the content of that funding bid, successfully get that, and then deliver education using that in a blended kind of way. So we've used it for training, in digital content delivery for institutions around the world. We know it's studied by international and local researchers. One of my students, she just got a PhD in July, and the MOOC formed part of her study into transcultural behavioural MOOCs. But we also occasionally get researchers writing to us, sending us their papers where they've studied the course and things like that. So it's quite interesting in lots of ways. Made lots of connections. And obviously, because it's open content, we embed the content itself into our own teaching. One of my colleagues who's here does that into her PGT module. Or we use some of the digital assets, and we allow others to do so as well. So the British Council is using some of the material in China, for example. So one course has led to these wonderful ripples of impact. So what we wanted to do was to create a course which would do something similar. And so we wanted to create with this project a companion course. It would complement the EMI course. It would be open, it would be a MOOC, it would reach the same type of market, so people needing English language instruction. We would then start to build a portfolio related to English medium instruction and drive these opportunities for research and enterprise. So we conceived the idea of creating a course in English for university administrators. The aim of the course is to provide support for university staff who support international students and others, before, during and often after their stay, to network between students, academics, home universities and others, people who deal constantly with people of differing abilities in English, often on sensitive issues. And so our project was to create a 2-week MOOC with the same flavour as that previous one I mentioned, but aimed at an often overlooked audience. So administrators often don't have necessarily courses that are designed specifically for their needs. And so we wanted to respond to that need. And we also wanted a collaboration. So the collaboration in the creation of the course is with the Universidade de Minas Gerais in Brazil, to ensure a kind of global dimension and to make sure we have their input into content, and also with the School of Education here at Southampton, who helps us provide filming facilities. I'm going to hand over to Mary.
It's the one on the okay, thank you very much indeed. Just to recap, EMI, English is used as a vehicle for delivering courses in universities all over the world. But we realised that we were missing a trick, because before the students and the educators can actually get into the EMI classroom, there's an awful lot that goes before that. It's the administrators who are key to students and educators actually getting there to actually use English in the classroom for whatever course content is in question. So this is our focus then, these initial people who work at the point of contact when people actually come into contact with the university. And we are using the word administrator here, and I realise that in fact this includes an awful lot of different types of people with different roles, but we are respectfully using the term administrator as a kind of shorthand. And I don't think I need to explain to you the different questions that could be asked of administrators, the wide range of issues that they have to deal with, and the wide range of people that they have to deal with in their day-to-day work. Right. I think I may have jumped. Yes, okay. So what we are preparing is a 2-week course with 15 steps each week, which involve reading, listening, vox pops recordings, for example, giving people the opportunity to share and discuss the material in question. We're focusing mainly on spoken interactions, but there is obviously some consideration of written interactions, such as emails. And the approach, if we need to put a label on it, is a social constructivist approach, as in the initial English as a medium of instruction for academics MOOC that we have so successfully run here. We invite our participants to share, to comment, and to co-create the knowledge that is available to all. And the emphasis is therefore on successful communication rather than demonstration or displaying perfect English. And this is what makes it so different from other courses that people might have attended in the past. People might have done courses such as English for Business, right? But this is not our intention. In those kinds of courses, people are given examples of things to say and scripted dialogues and so on. But these don't necessarily hit the mark for professionals dealing with the vast range of situations that administrators might have to deal with and tackle in reality, in their lived experiences. What they need more is the language to deal with repairing conversations that may be difficult, or stressful, or quite challenging. and how to retrieve situations that might have gone wrong. So our emphasis is always on, what can go wrong here? Am I aware of the way people might be interpreting my words? Because for somebody whose first language is not English, dealing in a new relationship with a person on the end of the phone in a different country, trying to explain what they need and so on, is terribly daunting. And so, once again, we need to focus on the emotions here, the scary nature of the interactions that could be being understood here. So it's not language, it's intercultural awareness. And this trumps issues around perfect English. I don't think I have to explain to people in this audience about cultural differences around politeness and directness and formality and so on. I'm sure that you're all aware of that. And we don't have to talk here about body language and how this is important in face-to-face conversations and so on. But this is the core of our course. And so we acknowledge the sensitivity, the emotion, and the empathy needed in dealing with interlocutors in these situations. So, clearly then, the people on our course will have to be willing to change their mindset, be open to change and to expand their repertoire of empathy, if it's possible to say that, and monitor themselves to how they may need to monitor their potential for misunderstanding what's being said and how people may misunderstand that. It's both sides, both people in the exchange. We hope through this that the people on our course will become more confident about dealing with their people that they work with on a daily basis, become confident, more comfortable and happy, because basically we want happy, successful conversations for everyone. The topics covered, and this is just a flavour, names, how do you address people? This is a minefield. And I'm sure that you can, if I asked everyone here, you'd have stories, anecdotes to tell me of how people have misunderstood your name, or you've misunderstood somebody else's name. How do you deconstruct somebody's name when it's just said in a continuum like that, and it's a name you're not familiar with? And these are really, really important. Somebody's name is desperately important to get right from the start. Jargon. We so readily talk about aspects of our work in our university. We are so familiar with these terms. They're embedded in us, part of our sort of DNA. And yet we sometimes don't realise that, of course, this is not going to be obvious to somebody else. Ali mentioned just, a while back, she used the term spec cons. Well, we know what that is, but how is anybody else going to know about spec cons? Or faculty, if somebody has been familiar with, say, a United States influenced education prior to dealing with us, then faculty obviously means something quite different to a faculty here, and so on. So when we come to winding up an interaction, is everybody happy? Has everybody understood the same thing? Are both sides of the interaction leaving the interaction with the same message? Okay, and I'll wind up now and hand over to Kate, who is going to fill us in on Ali's part, who sadly is not here.
Thank you. Yeah, so going forward, we've got some work to do. We've got a nice screenshot there. So Professor Ana Larissa from UFMG in Brazil visited us in November last year, and we started doing some filming. It's a lovely screenshot from the filming of the introduction. Anna Larissa will take part in the course. There'll be more filming. Some of her colleagues will also participate as well in the recordings, and also tutoring on the course as well. So it'll be a true open collaboration. We're going to involve more Southampton colleagues working in these kind of roles to record short vox pops on video, describing some of their roles, some of the challenges, some of the solutions that they would suggest, what works for them. And so in that way we're going to provide a variety of voices and accents and opinions and approaches, and a wide range of material there which can provide impetus for discussion. So recordings will be integrated into our plan alongside texts and tasks. We're going to trial the course initially with our colleagues in Brazil, and then do more development on it, and the final version will sit alongside our EMI MOOC on Futurelearn. And so, just to come back to the beginning then, knowledge exchange and enterprise, so obviously we hope the course will raise our profile internationally, link it to what we know about EME and EMI, add to our portfolio of English medium education courses, and develop that and promote that activity. Obviously the partnership with Brazil is a very rich one, and we hope will lead to more opportunities. And also we want really to start exploring how we use the course as a resource that advertises something that's paid for online. So we make that step from kind of paid for ripples of impact to something that generates more income and could be a closed, paid for version. And so that will be our next step of exploration using this course. Thank you very much for your attention, and any questions, if you've got time for any questions.
Yes, yes.